There's no point in SEC enforcement. If the biggest IPO in the history, you can't say no to.
Wait. Can I push back on you, though, Mark? Sure. I mean, you bought into this thing.
Oh, yeah,
you're supporting it as well. I mean, you're saying the SEC should have turned it away, and yet you are there as a shareholder giving your money to Alibaba and Jack Ma.
Because I think the SEC is worthless in the first place, right, when it comes to enforcement. Seriously, that's my perspective. So, I mean, I've come to grow and like Chris, right? I didn't expect to have that, and I respect what he's saying. But
that's COX.
Yeah.
We're just not at scale to deal with threats of the future that are, typically cross-border threats.
Does this keep you up at night? Does this keep you up at night? I mean, if you're thinking about the possibility of these emerging threats in the financial system,
yes.
Is it a fraud like a Madoff, or is it something like this?
It's the uncertainty. I mean, that's why literally the way I manage my personal wealth is I'm hedged. I have a tail risk hedge. I do it because I don't trust the uncertainties, and I don't trust that the SEC is taking the right steps.
You come to this agency, treat it like a business. What would you do?
You'd have to burn it down and start from the beginning.
Is there nothing salvageable about the SEC?
I'm not saying it's not salvageable.
I'd say in a perfect world that's a good idea. I just don't think it's possible.
Well, what you could do is
erase the SEC.
No, but what you could.
8 years later, and the SEC still isn't capable of handling the financial market, let alone regulating it. That's the reason why whenever the SEC is cornered, they don't have a direct answer. And that's why I believe that Ripple will win, despite what is being advertised in the mainstream media. Listen to this, and you will instantly see that Ripple will win.
You've also made it clear in the past that Bitcoin is not a security. Now, some SEC staff have also previously said that Ethereum is not a security. The SEC's Dow report characterizes Ethereum as decentralized. So here's my question briefly, and without getting deep into the weeds on this, and I acknowledge your belief that most tokens have a large degree of central control, but generally speaking, is it fair to say that a significant factor for you in whether or not a digital asset is a security is whether it is centrally controlled or decentralized?
Well, I look to the Supreme Court that's often written about this, probably close to a dozen times in 50 years. And it's whether the investing public is anticipating profits, and that includes anticipating profits from appreciation as well as from, as you mentioned, rights, based upon a common enterprise, but
right.
The efforts of that common enterprise.
Right. So I guess another way to put my question, which you haven't answered, is it possible to have a common enterprise if it's something is decentralized? How could I have a common enterprise? I mean, it doesn't isn't centralization necessary to constitute a common enterprise?
You could have some things that are quite open, but still have, if the public is anticipating a profit based upon that common enterprise. So I'm being careful with my words here to be accurate as best I can. The common enterprise, are you relying on a group of individuals? And look, these are not laundromat tokens. There is a group of people that are actually...
You're not answering my question, though. But so let me try it this way. What is it about Bitcoin that causes you to conclude it is not a security?
Well, one is there's no group of individuals in the middle.
Right, it's
there's
decentralized.
No group of individuals in the middle.
Right.
That are basically, and you're not, in essence, the investing public's not betting on somebody in the middle or six people in the middle.
So you're choosing not to use the term decentralized, but that's what you're describing.
Like I said, Gary Gensler doesn't know how to regulate a market. He seems to have an issue explaining or even understanding how the market operates. Is this the person that we're banking on will eventually regulate the crypto market? Come on, guys. Even we continue to invest in the crypto market, we should also check out who is the watchdog in our space. That's the reason why Ripple will win. As always, welcome to Moneyside, your favorite crypto channel. If you're new here, welcome, and hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Get updates when we drop new videos. Don't forget to smash that like button, and you can always leave a comment or a question in the section below.
Brad, are you there? Hey, Brad, I think it's time you reserve a PJ to make sure it's ready to fly you down to Vegas for the XRP event in May. I don't see a conflict. It's a talk on fintech. We got Link2, Uphold, PolySign, accountants. I like XRP. and you use XRP. What's the problem? Now, our ladies may take issue if we go out partying and somebody wakes up on the roof on a mattress. So if you can't make it, maybe send David, maybe do something, but somebody's waking up on a mattress and it ain't gonna be me. Come on, Brad.
The problem is that Credit Suisse, by some standards, might be too big to fail, but also too big to be saved. It's not clear that, unlike the United States, the federal system has enough resources to engineer a bailout. And what they need certainly is more capital, and the question is whether they're going to get that capital or not. Otherwise, bad things can happen.
The U.S. economy appears to be on a downhill run, and it's beginning with the banking system. We just had the craziest inflation of the century, and now 2 banks have failed. Guys, if you're not ready, the economy will fail the same way it did in the subprime mortgage crisis back in 2008. The corruption and the cover-ups that happened then are happening again. And the only answer is cryptocurrency. Cryptos have always been a hedge against inflation. But right now, because of the SEC, it's virtually impossible to invest in crypto. The right way, that is. As you heard from Gensler, he thinks that Bitcoin is the only asset that's not a security in the crypto market, and that's entirely wrong. If we continue this way, the biggest crisis is just around the corner. That, coupled with the rising inflation, I highly doubt the dollar will still hold its position as the world reserve currency.
You didn't like high yield. I imagine you don't like it now. Can we put some numbers on things, though, if we can? High yield spreads were through 400 basis points in the last month. We were literally there just the other week. We're north of that level right now. You've heard the people, I've heard the people that come on this show. They say it's a high quality index. They say the story's changed for high yield. Spreads won't gap out that much this time at a downturn. What do you say back to them?
I say recession is inevitable. The low and high yield or the widened spreads is always during recession. I don't know if it happens before year end or early next year. I'll be patient and wait. What should be disturbing to a lot of those investors is that the problems we're seeing now are in the investment grade market. It's with investment grade banks. It's with banks that had very wealthy client bases. Those are the ones that have come under attack. So it's disturbing for anyone in the credit space.
So numbers, it's not 500 that gets it done for you. I imagine it's not 6.
It's
Is
a
it 7?
minimum of 800.
Minimum of 800 basis points.
Minimum of 800.
Spreads.
We've always been to 800 over minimum in recession. If I think about all the funding that's gone on over the last 3 years, the amount of liquidity sloshing around in the system, we expect more problems.
Is it the last 3 or the last 10? The last 3 years or the last decade that we need to undo?
It's a lot of the last 3 years, but I think we're leaving the last decade behind. I think, look, the pleasant way to look at it is we had a pandemic, we had an overwhelming policy response. Now we've got to take out a lot of that liquidity. You're going to have a painful adjustment, but there are positive things ahead. There's a whole generational transformation to the millennials. So we could see higher highs and higher lows in central bank rates and also in bond yields. But that doesn't get us past the washing out process that has to occur first. That's what we're going to see over the next several quarters.
You will soon start to hear an increase in headlines like coherent cuts more than 100 Bay Area jobs as tech layoffs worsen. The world is about to change, and we should expect a new world order. That all starts the US dollar falling. However, the government is adamant, and that's why they are trying their level best to choke any crypto that has hopes of replacing Bitcoin, namely XRP. Now, let's face it, they already know that Bitcoin is going nowhere and will likely go down. The only crypto that has the potential to become the ideal banker's coin is XRP. And thankfully, the XRP army is not going to let this slide. They have united to fight the system, which is corrupt, and we could soon see the victory of the year. And when that happens, XRP is going to go straight to the moon, finally replacing Bitcoin. Now, if you're wise, this is one unique opportunity to perchance become the first millionaire in your family.
Watch the way that you speak to the XRP army. Watch the way that you speak to them. Why? Because your coin's gonna be next. I've been trying to tell you all that the whole time. And meanwhile, we've got Charles Hoskinson, and we've got on one side, we've got the XRP army on the other side. They hate each other. They can't find any common ground. Well, guess what? Cardano community, all the work, that the XRP army has done to try to defeat the SEC, well, this is all the same stuff that probably the Cardano people are going to have to go through at some point. Unless something changes. Gary Gensler today directly said anything that's proof of stake blockchain is a security.
Do you think anything will further happen with the bank situation, with the crypto-friendly bank situation in the United States? Do you think everyone eventually will just leave the U.S.? Or what of the situation of on and off ramps in the United States for banks and crypto institutions?
Yeah, I mean, look, my guess is that when you have demand that is as strong as it is, there will always be smaller banks that are willing to step up and try to risk manage this. So, you get rid of Signature Bank and you have Customers Bank, and you get rid of Customers Bank and then you have Coastal Com. I mean, there's always somebody who's going to serve this because there's a demand, and crypto's not unlawful. The question then becomes, how quickly and how committedly is the administration going to go after every single last one of those, and how will they answer to the 50 million customers who are looking for fiat on and off ramps? My belief is that they're trying to send a signal that will eventually choke this off. That's again what Operation Choke Point was. But you can't kill all of the animals in the zoo at some point. So my belief is there will always be somebody serving it. It'd be better if larger banks with better risk management were serving the sector. But if they don't, there will be somebody doing that. And hopefully over time, as the asset class matures, people will get comfortable with that.
Token holders crowdsourcing and causing and having an impact on the case via attorney John Deaton. I didn't see that coming. And I'm like, wow, there's like 70,000 plus XRP holders, and they're all on Twitter, and they're all so it's a very different dynamic. Have you seen anything like this before? And what do you think the impact will be moving forward? Once again, it doesn't have to be XRP. It could be Cardano. It could be whatever. What do you think about that?
No, to answer your question directly, I have not seen anything like this in my experience. And again, even though many of the holders of these tokens and the fans of the projects are quite aggressive and quite vocal, I respect what they're trying to do. In a lot of ways, Tony, this is what democracy is supposed to look like, right? Regular people weighing in on important issues that impact their lives. So I have a ton of respect for what all of these communities have been able to do in terms of influencing the direction of the litigation, the arguments that could be made, even the mastery in the building of the record of evidence in the case. It's really quite impressive. And attorneys like John Deaton and others, I think, have done an excellent job representing that.
As always, do your own research and always trade safely, guys. Please keep in mind, we're not a licensed financial advisor. All videos on this channel are intended for entertainment purposes only. Let us know what you think in the comments section below, and let's have a conversation. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, and please click on that subscribe button below and turn on notifications so you get informed whenever we post our amazing content. Thanks again, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next Money Side.